Peace and blessings, everyone. It's me, Coach Ed, welcoming you to Coach Ed's amazing world of sports. Now, today, I'm going to be talking about the New York Knicks, and I'm going to be talking about a subject called Nick That Thought. It's going to be, like I said, about the Knicks, and it's going to be about an article I read. And in that article, the author is talking about creating a big four for the Knicks. Knicks fans, you would be excited when you really see and hear about this, but I'm going to really go into details about this and then you tell me what you think. But before I get into that, you guys know the routine. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button. You'll always know when I post new content. And everyone, like and share this episode. It'll help me grow the channel, and I really thank you guys. To all my sponsors, Go Travels, Shadow Worlds Media, Wise Consultants, the League of All League Alliance, and the Bearcats Arena Football Team. Thank you for truly supporting me and sponsoring me in all these endeavors. So, thank you, and I appreciate you guys. Now, I read a story, and it's under the Fadeaway World More Than Sports site. The author of this article is called Eddie Bitar, and he says it's a master plan for the New York Knicks, a powerful big four in Madison Square Garden. Now, I will admit, when you look at the four players that he's talking about, there's some good players. There's some good players in there. And as Knicks fans, yeah, we would be excited to, you know, have them on the squad because of the visions of success that would be derived from these players. But you at what cost? See, when you really dive into this and look at this, it leaves you wondering in terms of all the players associated that's going out as well as coming in. So let's go ahead and dive into this article. I'm going to bring the screen up, bring the article up, and share my screen with you guys so you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about. And here we go. Fadeaway World, More Than Sports. Eddie Bitar is the author. And this was written yesterday. So, he goes into the Knicks are a team that is trying its best to make a push for the NBA Finals next year, as they look to be in a position to make the playoffs as currently constructed. So it goes into where they seeded, what they did, and competing against the Celtics, the Bucks, Sixers, and Cleveland. Okay, we all know that. Okay, let me move this out of the way. Sorry about that, guys. All right, goes into with plenty of decent basketball going around, thanks to Brunson and Julian Randle, role players, and even Tom Thibodeau. You know, spotlight is on New York City, but it's also pressure coming from the media and the fans. There's also been rumors that they wanted to trade away star players, i.e., Julius Randle, and Thibodeau was on the hot seat. But perhaps the best way forward for the New York is to make a few blockbuster deals to shake up the Eastern Conference. Now, I will tell you, these deals definitely would shake up the Eastern Conference. But like I said, we're going to dive into it. So, without further ado, blah, blah, blah. A smart rule for DeMar DeRozan. Now, yeah, DeMar can score. We all know that. He can play. So there's no denying it. So, if he could come to New York, okay, that's interesting. The first step to create the Big Four is to go with a 33-year-old All-Star, DeMar DeRozan, made a sixth All-Star this season. He can score at an elite level and has playoff experience, so acquiring him is the building block for a super team. Makes sense, right, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, here's the trade details. The Knicks get DeMar DeRozan. You'd give up Emmanuel Quickly, Quentin Grimes, and Evan Fournier. Okay. Ooh, some Knicks fans, it's going to be hard, because you're saying Quickly. Oh, man. Quentin Grimes, okay. Evan Fournier. But in one regard, if you want to get talent, you got to give up something that's going to hurt. So no doubt DeMar DeRozan is a very interesting target for the Knicks. There's two reasons why. The first is he's a ball dominant player, and he does fit into the context of what the Knicks have at this point because Brunson is the only shot creator as a perimeter player. Okay. DeRozan can also complement Brunson as he'll take the ball out of his hands, which helps and it helps. We all get that. Okay. And also DeRozan, could want out of Chicago. See, could. It's not a definite, but more than likely is because Chicago's probably rebuilding, unless some things happen, and of course, a big market suits his profile. Okay. But here's where I start to have a sense of pause. Okay. DeRozan, who has been the Bills' most consistent star, has 1 year remaining on his deal. That right there is where I have the cause for pause. So I'm giving up 2 young players, and I might only get this guy for 1 year. Okay, so you know what? You might have to do what you have to do. You might have to take that chance. You might hope he, falls in love with being in New York. Okay, but again, he's 33, so he's on the down slope. So how long can he play at an elite level? So even if you were to say, okay, maybe you can get him on another contract after that 1 year. Okay, but when you look at the numbers, 24.5 points per game, 4.6 rebounds per game, 5.1 assists per game, shooting 50% from the field goal, 32% from three. Now that's, but 87% on the free throws, So, good one-on-one shot creation. So, there's not much he can't do. So, creates an interesting situation. So, for New York in that regard. So, let's see. Now we go into a new sharpshooting big man in town. Y'all ready for this? Let's take a look. Most people know that or have heard that. There's already been plenty of rumors. Karl Anthony Towns. I get it. All right. Jersey boy. Basically from Piscataway, New Jersey, played at St. Joseph's and Metuchen, was, All-American, went to Kentucky, was drafted number 1 out of Kentucky. Okay, he's a baller. Okay, so you said Brunson, DeRozan, Karl Anthony Towns. Knicks fans, do you guys like that thought? I mean, okay. It's interesting. Second step for New York master plan is trading for Karl Anthony Towns, who is not only one of the best shooters in the world, but is a unique talent. Towns is good enough to be a second best player on a title team. Oh, he's a second best player? Okay. So, DeRozan, Brunson, are they the number 1? Let's see. And the Knicks will the Knicks will need to part ways with 3 important pieces and 2 picks to get the deal over the line. You ready? Here we go. Oops, sorry about that. So the Knicks get Karl Anthony Towns, but they're giving up R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, Miles McBride, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2024 second-round pick from the Jazz or Cleveland, whichever is more favorable for Minnesota. New York has been looking to make a big splash in the NBA, and trading for Karl Towns could be just the move they need to make. Towns is one of the best big men in the league and will be a great addition to the Knicks roster. He averaged 21 points a game, 8 rebounds a game, 5 assists per game on 49.5 field goal percent shooting, 37% on 3-point shooting, 87% free throws. His numbers dipped in the playoffs: 18, 10, and 2 on 46, 25, and 75% free throw shooting. Even if Towns struggles in the playoffs, he's still a unique talent at a shooting big man. RJ Barrett has shown promise in his young career, but he's not lived up to the all star potential. Toppin and McBride are both youngsters who've shown some potential, but they're still improving at the NBA level. The 27 first round and the 24 second round picks are both valuable assets, but they are still several years away from being able to contribute to the Knicks roster. So, in a nutshell, the assets will make the Knicks none of these assets will make the Knicks lose sleep in terms of bringing Towns to New York. Okay, all right. Towns is a proven star in the NBA, having made 3 All-Stars. He's a dominant force. He'd fit alongside DeRozan and Jalen Brunson. He's a great rebounder, shot blocker. He can score from any on the court. The Knicks give up some valuable assets in the trade, but they be getting a player who can help them compete for championships right away. Towns is still young at 27, so he has plenty of years left in his prime, so he'd be a cornerstone. He's a big man under contract until 2025, 26 season at the Supermax money, so he's a franchise cornerstone going forward. And of course, you see, scroll right underneath, the blockbuster deal for Zion Williamson. So right now you're talking about Jalen Brunson, DeRozan, Karl Anthony Towns, Zion Williamson. That's your big four. Knicks fans, if that happened in some regards, yeah, Knicks Nation would be excited, would be happy. Okay, but you're giving up some pieces. So, with 2 All-Stars alongside Brunson, here's the final piece: Williamson, who's going through an unbelievable off-court situation that's puzzling. He could benefit from a change of scenery. Okay, we get that. To get that, the Knicks are going to give up Julius Randle, a 2024 first-round pick from Detroit, 2025 first-round pick. That's their own, okay? The Knicks have been looking to make a splash in the NBA, and getting Zion could be just the move they need to turn their fortunes around. He's one of the most exciting young players in the league and has the potential to be a franchise player for years to come. Pairing him with Brunson, DeRozan, Towns could create a formidable foursome that could lead the Knicks to immediate success. Randall's been solid, but he may not be the long-term solution. Trading for him with the 2 first, would be fair price for Zion. Zion is averaging career-wise, whenever he plays, 25.8 points per game, 7 rebounds, 3.6 assists. Steals per game are 0.9, blocks are 0.6. Field goal is 60.5, are elite numbers and far exceed what Randall has done in his career. 18.7 points per game, 9.4 rebounds per game, 3.6 assists per game, on 47% field goal. Zion is under contract until 25-26 at 40 per season. So that's another great deal for the Knicks to absorb for the foreseeable future. Of course, the player himself might want a chance to play for the Knicks as well. Williams is dominant on the court. Great combination of size, strength, and athleticism. He has the ability to score from anywhere in the court, and is a tenacious rebounder. From his days at Duke, his defensive skills are also impressive, making him a well-rounded player who can make a significant impact on the Knicks roster. Knicks will be giving up some valuable asset in the trade. The potential of Williamson could be worth the risk. He has the potential to be a superstar in the league. With Brunson, DeRozan, Towns on the roster, the addition of Williamson could create a dynamic trio that could lead the Knicks to success in the years to come. So, You've seen already what the Knicks have been giving up to get all of this. There's a lot of question marks in terms of this. All right. Let's keep it looking. The Knicks have not made the finals since '99. The Knicks have a budding star, all-star in Brunson, 24 points, 6.2 assists per game, 26 years old. Is on a long-term option for the franchise. Giving him three new all-star teammates would mean the Knicks are more than title favorites. In fact, the team would be the leading contender. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue that per se to a certain extent. All right. So we go into DeRozan as an elite scorer who is unselfish, can play off the ball, play off another dominant ball dominant point guard. Has as long as he gets his mid range touches, he'll always compete on defense as well, which is good with Tibbs. Same with Towns. He can play off the ball for floor spacing. Can also score inside consistently. As a 6'11 big man, Talent is also versatile in terms of defending multiple positions and can switch on defense exceptionally well. Finally, Zion can become the face of the NBA in a massive market in New York. All right, the duo of Towns and Zion, they work perfectly together. You know, they create space on the floor while Williamson can attack the rim and pick and roll with Brunson and Towns. A pick and roll with Brunson and Towns leads to easy jumpers, while one with Zion can lead to countless posters. We know what that means. The Knicks lineup of Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, DeMar DeRozan, Zion Williamson, and Karl-Anthony Towns could create arguably the most complete starting lineup of all time. Okay. Knicks can't settle for simply progressing to the second round of the playoffs because that might be the team's ceiling at this point. Instead, moving Randall, Barrett, and the rest of the depth makes perfect sense in terms of being a title contender. The bench can easily be complete. The bench can easily be complete in the free agent market with a host of players looking for minimum deals to try and win a ring while also potentially living in New York for long term. Even the Phoenix Suns acquiring Bradley Beal do not have the star power that the Knicks offer, while other contending teams such as Denver, Boston, Milwaukee, Bucks, Golden State simply can't match up to the four in their prime. Okay, so we saw that. And we saw how they're talking about the starting lineup of Brunson, Hart, DeRozan, Williamson, Karl-Anthony Towns. We saw all the guys that got traded. Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, Miles McBride, Evan Fournier, Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickly. Okay, so you saw all that. They're giving up a lot in terms of, and I understand, journalist says, look, their ceiling is probably the second round, which he might be right in terms of that. Maybe they can push a little bit more if you just add one key piece to that. Okay? But I'm going to go back to something, okay? Because when he talked about the lineup, Josh Hart, who's right now coming off the bench technically for the Knicks, along with the other four. No mention of Mitchell Robinson. Does that mean Towns is playing the center position? Because my understanding is he doesn't want to play center. He wants to play power forward. Somebody tell me if my understanding is correct, but I don't think I am, because he's out there in Minnesota playing with Gobert, so that means he's the power forward. But okay, if you say okay, Josh Hart's coming off the bench, does that mean you're playing Zion at the small forward, Mitchell at the center with Towns at the power forward? Because also don't forget, you have Isaiah Hartenstein, and behind him is Jericho Sims. Now, does that mean you're also going to be trading away One of those three, more than likely, is going to be Mitchell Robinson because of his money. If Towns is going to play the center, for me, this is saying that this artist, this journalist, really, I don't think he really thought this through. I'm going to be brutally honest. I don't. I think this is someone who probably doesn't like the Knicks, and he's trying to put this out there to get some push behind it and excitement. But if you really think about it, okay, you're stripping the team of all its depth. You're getting rid of quality draft picks. You're really putting them in a hole because if it doesn't work, it's total chaos. I mean, New York has already seen a team try to do that, i.e., the Brooklyn Nets. I love you, Jeff. I'm sorry, bro. I mean, but I'm speaking the truth. You've always spoken about that too when you were here. But that's the truth. You have no bench. You're talking about, oh, you're going to fill your bench with guys who want the minimum or will take a minimum contract. But are those players going to be good enough to play to help you win a championship? Because didn't Denver just show you you do need depth to compete? I mean, the days of all these super quote unquote supposed super teams, it's not reality, ladies and gentlemen. You need a full team, and yes, you need superstars. I'm not saying you don't. You need guys who are going to close at those critical times. But you still need guys coming off the bench to help you. And let's be real, Zion Williamson. I mean, I loved him coming out of Duke, but the dude is injury prone right now. I mean, and that's a touchy subject in New York, the New York market. When you have professional teams where players are out for extended period of times, critical times, it's a touchy subject. And Zion right now is dealing with that, let alone this off court, off field issue. Bringing that to New York, because New York, the media will tear that apart. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to say it again. I loved Zion Williamson coming out of Duke, man. I really did. Did I want the Knicks to get him at that point in time? Yes. But with the injury, his weight ballooning, and you're talking to a big fatty right here, bro. I'm telling you, I understand about gaining weight, but being on the basketball court and being out because of injury in your legs area, come on, man. Now, can he lose the weight? Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying this dude probably can't, and they'll probably help him. Okay. But he's still injury prone. He still has that baggage, that drama behind him. Carl Anthony Towns has been out with injuries before. Okay. DeMar DeRozan is not a good 3-point shooter. Now, if you're going to expect your 3-point shooter to come from those two for the most part and Brunson, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Josh Hart, love him to death. He's a glue guy, but I think he's best suited coming off the bench, not being a consistent starter. If he needs a spot start, that's one thing, but a consistent, no. And like I spoke to you about earlier, what you doing with not Julius, Mitchell Robinson? What are you doing with him, or Hartenstein, or Jericho Sims? I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, Mitchell has no offensive game. He's a great defender. He's a great pick guy, great rebounder. Love his rebounding, love his tenacity, love his aggressiveness. But he has no offense. Where's he going to fit in there? I mean, again, this journalist, I really don't think he thought it through. And for the Knicks to give up so much to get 3 players, just 3. Now I know some of you are going to come at me and, coach, you don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. Get out of here. I would do that in a heartbeat. I get it. I get the names. but look at what you're giving up to get them and what it could possibly cost. Because in New York, if this fails, and where does that put the Knicks long term? Because with that new CBA, that new CBA, if you guys don't know about it, look it up. It is very stringent. It's about really trying to develop your own and grow that way. You get certain benefits that way. Otherwise, you're handicapped financially. And think about the money those guys are going to cost. To me, this article straight asinine. I mean, it's BS. No. The fantasy, the thought of it, yes, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's nice. It's not. But that's it. It's a fantasy. It's a dream. It's not reality, ladies and gentlemen. I can't see a move like this, a trade like this, and the next Knicks long term being successful, because one of those guys are going to go down, and then what? And then what? I mean, who's the backup point guard? I mean, do you right now, Derrick Rose? They can pick up his option. Do you keep him? But Derrick Rose really didn't play much last year as it is. Great man. I love him. Love what he did. He epitomizes what being a Knick is about. But in the same token, I mean, the money he has right now is 15, $16 million. That's something you could use elsewhere. Or, based on what they're bringing in, do the Knicks just have to cut him because they need his money? I mean, and like I said, I just went through where are the rest of where are the wings? Where's the defense? Tibbs is a defensive minded coach and he loves his bench having that. And I get it. There's the issue with him and Obi. That's another story that we could talk about later. But the point I'm making is Tibbs is a defensive minded coach. He needs those defensive wings. No, I can't see this going through, man. I can't see anybody really fully getting behind it other than to say this is just a great dream. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's my thought. But I say, nick that thought, man. Forget that. With this article, man. Forget it. But you guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. I want to really hear what you got to say. Well, that's it for today. I hope you liked it. And I'm looking forward to your comments. And in the end, you know what I say in sports? Make sure you turn it on and turn it up. Peace.